every sign's strongest hours today, and the one stretch that suits routine work rather than fresh starts are coming in this reading. A warm welcome to your daily sky for August 11th. These readings are read by your Western tropical sun sign, the sign the sun was in when you were born. So choose that one and the houses will follow from it. Readings today are from your sun sign. The link below finds yours in 10 seconds. All times are New York time. The moon is a waning crescent in Leo, and the quiet pause ran from 3:30 at night yesterday to 4:38 at night, which is why the small hours favored routine work over fresh starts. The sun is still in Leo. 6 exact aspects shape the day. The moon meets Mercury at 9:41 in the morning, opposes Pluto at 11:03 in the morning, trines Neptune at 11:20 in the morning, sextiles Venus at 12:36 in the afternoon, sextiles Uranus at 1:20 in the afternoon, and meets Jupiter at 8:01 in the evening. Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto are retrograde. Aries, today rewards the part of you that starts things, especially anything creative you have been holding back. Yesterday, the moon sat in your 4th house of home, family, and inner ground, so the day likely felt turned inward, quieter than your usual pace. That shifts. The moon moves into your 5th house of creativity and self-expression at 4:38 at night, and your working ideas find a warmer stage. Mars, your ruler, is in Cancer and debilitated today, which simply means force works less well than patience. Courage still reaches you before caution does, so aim it at one careful task rather than 5 loud ones. In money matters, choose the steady option. Venus sits in Libra in your 7th house of partnership, Aries, and that supports honest, generous conversation with the person closest to you. So say the appreciative thing you usually assume they know. For energy, the moon trines Neptune exact at 11:20 in the morning, a soft window for rest, music, or unhurried work. The inward turn of yesterday becomes outward expression today. If someone near you keeps struggling with something you find easy, sit with them and show it slowly, expecting nothing back. Carry this lightly and have a truly good day. Taurus, today rewards the quiet work of settling your own ground rather than pushing outward. Yesterday leaned toward courage, siblings, and short journeys, so you were likely moving, talking, running small errands more than resting. From 4:38 at night, the moon shifted into your 4th house of home and inner foundations, joining the sun in its own sign of Leo along with Mercury and Jupiter there. For work and money, that favors consolidating what you already hold rather than launching something new. And Venus, your ruler, moves through your 6th house of daily work and service in her own sign of Libra. Tidy one recurring task today and the week gets lighter. You build slowly, Taurus, and you build things that hold. In relationships, keep conversations close to home. The people under your own roof want your attention more than your opinions. For energy, Mars, your period lord, sits weekend in Cancer, so pace yourself. Choose the shorter walk, the earlier rest. That lighter week I mentioned begins with the ordinary task you finish. And as a small act of care, pass something useful you no longer need to someone who does, quietly, expecting nothing in return. The day is yours to shape. Shape it kindly. Gemini, your words are the most valuable thing you own today. and today they carry further than usual. Yesterday, the moon sat in your second house of money, possessions, and what you value, so you were lightly weighing worth, yours included. Now, the sun, Mercury, and Jupiter are all gathered in Leo in your third house of speech, learning, and near connections, and the moon joins them there at 4:38 at night. For work, this favors saying the thing plainly. Pitch it, write it, ask the question you have been circling. Your period lord, Mars, sits debilitated in Cancer, so financial decisions want patience rather than speed. In relationships, Gemini, remember that Mercury rules you. Curiosity is your engine, and connection costs you no effort at all. A moon sextile Uranus goes exact at 1:20 in the afternoon, a good window for an unplanned conversation or a fresh idea landing mid-sentence. For your energy, keep the day loosely scheduled around that hour rather than packed tight, so the surprise has somewhere to sit. That is the arc. Value weighed yesterday, voiced today. Let the landing be small. Say the encouraging word you have been meaning to say to someone, unprompted, expecting nothing at all in return. Move through today at your own pace. It is the right one. Cancer, today your instincts are unusually accurate. So trust the first reading you get rather than the second guess. Yesterday, the moon sat in your first house of self and vitality, and your own mood was probably setting the weather for everyone around you. That softens now. The moon steps into your second house of money, values, and steady resources at 4:38 at night, which turns the focus from how you feel to what you actually hold. So look at income and spending with plain eyes today, and let one small financial decision get finished. Your period lord, Mars, sits in Cancer in a debilitated state, which means effort works better when it is gentle rather than forced. In close relationships, Cancer, that favors listening over pushing, and you are built for this. Ruled by the moon, you read a room before anyone in it says so. For energy, keep the pace unhurried. Eat at proper hours, and let rest be part of the plan rather than the leftover. The day begins in your own sign and settles into what sustains you, which is a good shape to end on. Quietly finish a chore that was never yours to do. Tell nobody, and let that be the whole of it. May the day meet you kindly and leave you a little lighter. Leo, today your own light is the steadiest thing in the room, and you do not have to raise your voice to be felt. Yesterday, the moon sat in your 12th house of rest, retreat, and letting go. So, a quieter, more inward mood was natural. At 4:38 at night, the moon moves into your first house, the house of self and how you show up, and your presence sharpens with it. For work and money, the moon meets Mercury at 9:41 in the morning, favoring clear conversation, so say the plain version of what you want. Your period lord, Mars, sits debilitated in Cancer, which simply asks you to push gently rather than hard. Leo, you are ruled by the sun, and warmth arrives ahead of you. Before you have spoken, trust that in every room today. In relationships, the moon opposes Pluto in your 7th house of partnership at 11:03 in the morning, so let intensity pass without deciding anything from it. By 8:01 in the evening, the moon joins Jupiter, and the day settles generous and wide. Somewhere today, thank someone whose work usually goes unnoticed, and let that be the whole of it. Whatever today asks of you, you have met harder days than this. Virgo, today rewards the quiet inner audit far more than any outward push, and you already know how to do that work well. Yesterday leaned inward too, with the shared Leo cluster asking you to keep more of yourself in reserve. On the work side, that same gathering sits in your 12th house, the place of retreat, rest, and closing things out. So, this favors finishing quietly rather than launching. Your period lord, Mars, is weakened in Cancer, which simply means force gets you less than patience does. Pick the unglamorous task and complete it. Precision is instinct for you, Virgo, and quiet service is the shape your care takes. So trust that instinct with people too. Venus in her own sign, in your second house of what you hold and value, supports steady, honest conversations about resources rather than sweeping decisions. For energy, the moon sits in your 11th house of gains and wider circles, then slips into that 12th house at 4:38 at night, which is your cue to protect sleep and lower the volume of your day. The inward pull that has been building all along settles here. If someone you know is unwell, sit with them a while and let them set the pace, expecting nothing at all. Let today be useful rather than perfect. Libra, today your circle carries you further than any solo effort would. Yesterday, your career and public standing sat in the spotlight, and you likely felt watched, measured, quietly on show. That eases now. The moon shifts into your 11th house of friendship and hopes early at 4:38 at night, joining your Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter there. For work and money, that favors asking a friend, a peer, a group, say what you are building out loud, and let someone offer the introduction you would never request twice. Mars, your timekeeper today, sits weakened in Cancer at the top of your chart, so push gently on ambition and let collaboration do the heavy lifting. Venus rules you, Libra, and you find the balance point in almost any room, with Moon sextile Venus exact at 12:36 in the afternoon. The talent is at its warmest. Use that window for the conversation that needs softening. Physically, keep the day unhurried and let rest come from company rather than performance. The pressure of being seen loosens into the ease of being among your people. If you can, share a meal today with someone who is hungry, expecting nothing in return. And on our website, you can get your full birth chart free whenever you would like a closer look. Walk gently today and let the day come to you. Scorpio, your standing speaks for you today. So let steady competence do the talking rather than any extra push. Yesterday, the moon opened in your 9th house of belief, learning and long journeys. So the day likely tilted toward perspective and questions more than finished results. Now the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter all stand in Leo in your 10th house of career and public reputation, which means the work you show is being noticed. Put your clearest piece forward and let it be seen. There is one quiet hour I want to come back to. Venus sits in Libra in your 12th house, the house of rest and inner life. Scorpio, so closeness may prefer privacy over performance today. Give one person your undivided attention instead of a crowd. And that quiet hour, the moon moves into your 10th house at 4:38 at night. So the early morning favors planning what you will present. Your ruler Mars is in Cancer and debilitated now, which asks for a gentler pace than usual. You go deep where others skim, and your resilience is easy to underestimate. So, rest is not a retreat. Depth, not volume, is what carries this day. Set out water or a little food where the birds or a stray animal can find it, asking nothing back. May today bring you one moment worth remembering. Sagittarius, today rewards the honest question more than the quick answer. And you are built for exactly that. The last day asked you to sit with shared money, shared decisions, and quieter change, so a certain heaviness would be understandable. That deeper ground still holds the moon in your 8th house of shared resources, which favors tidying one joint account, repayment, or shared commitment rather than launching something new. Your period Lord Mars stands in Cancer without much strength. So let progress come from patience, not force. The reward is a cleaner ledger by evening. In partnership, Sagittarius, Mars and Uranus both sit in your 7th house of one-to-one bonds, which supports listening for what has changed in someone rather than assuming. For energy, the moon steps into your 9th house of meaning and travel at 4:38 at night, joining the sun, Mercury and Jupiter there, and Jupiter is your own ruler. A morning walk, a page of something wise, or a longer view of a problem restores you faster than caffeine. That is the day, heavy ground below, white sky above. Somewhere today, give one person your unhurried attention while they speak. No advice, no rushing, simply because they deserve to be heard. Go easy on yourself today. The stars are patient, and you can be too. Capricorn, today favors the honest conversation you have been circling, and it rewards patience rather than pressure. Yesterday, the moon opened in your 7th house of partnership and close alliances, so you likely felt the pull to look beneath the surface of a relationship rather than at its polished face. On the work and money side, Venus moves through Libra in your 10th house of career and public standing, which supports you presenting your work plainly and letting the quality speak. Capricorn, you are ruled by Saturn, and you play the long game by nature, not by discipline. So a slower step today is not a lost one. Your period Lord, Mars, sits debilitated in Cancer, which asks you to soften how you push in close relationships. State what you need once, kindly, then listen. The moon shifts into your 8th house of shared resources and deeper matters at 4:38 at night, a good window for reviewing joint finances or one held back feeling, gently, with rest built into the day. That thread from yesterday, looking beneath the surface, settles now into quiet understanding rather than pressure. If someone near you is carrying more than they can hold, take part of that load off their hands, expecting nothing back, wishing you a calm and steady day ahead. Aquarius, today the room fills with other people, and that is where your clearest thinking lands. Yesterday leaned into work, health, and the small mechanics of routine, so you may have spent it grinding through tasks rather than talking to anyone. That shifts now. The moon crosses into your 7th house, the house of partnership and one-to-one dealings, in the small hours at 4:38 at night, joining the sun, Mercury and Jupiter already gathered there. For work and money, this favors the conversation over the solo push. Bring the proposal to a person rather than polishing it alone. Your period Lord, Mars, sits debilitated in Cancer, in the 6th house of daily work and routine. So keep the pace modest and let one unhurried discussion carry the day. In relationships, Aquarius, the moon opposes Pluto exactly at 11:03 in the morning, and feelings may run deeper than the topic deserves. Saturn rules you, and you think from an angle nobody else tried. So name what you actually see rather than matching someone else's intensity. For energy, eat properly and stop early. The day that began in routine ends in company. Somewhere close by, someone has been alone lately. Call them or knock on their door, expecting nothing. Let today be simple. That is enough. Pisces, today your work carries you, and the steadiest thing you can do is let the ordinary tasks hold you together. Yesterday, the moon opened in your fifth house of creativity, romance, and play, so the day likely had a softer, more expressive pull to it. Now, the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter all move through Leo in your sixth house of work, service, and daily routine, which favors quiet, methodical effort over grand gestures. Jupiter rules you, Pisces, and compassion moves you before analysis does. So let your imagination shape the small repairs rather than the big announcements. With Mars, your period lord, sitting debilitated in Cancer, force will not help you today, but patience will. Choose one task and finish it properly. In relationships, gentleness lands better than persuasion. So listen longer than you speak. For energy, the moon shifts into that same sixth house at 4:38 at night, supporting a slower start and a kinder pace through the morning. The day's arc settles simply. The work you tend carefully today is what steadies you. As your act of care, offer your seat, your place in line, or an unhurried half hour to someone who needs it more than you do, expecting nothing back. May something small go beautifully right for you today. May today move gently for you, and may you meet whatever it brings with a steady heart and clear eyes. Take the guidance that fits your life and set the rest down kindly. The sky suggests it never decides for you. Somewhere in your day, there will be a small chance to make someone's load lighter, and I hope you take it simply because it is a good thing to do. Rest well tonight, eat something that nourishes you, and let tomorrow start fresh. If today's sky was useful, subscribing keeps it coming every morning.